the same as what it was coming out here to Cochrane. Except the highway coming out to here was a lot nicer.
The 30th anniversary of Project Grizzly's coming up soon. My dad was not a fan of that movie. He didn't like the way that it was portrayed in it. Maybe that's fair. You know, it didn't show at all what he was trying to do back in '89 with the original In Search of an Answer, and it didn't really cover what he was trying to do with White Tape. But there was an odd authenticity to the movie and him in it that many years later now I appreciate. Bit of a storm tonight. Wind and whatnot. I couldn't sleep. Figured why not? We'll get one going. Not even sure how it's going to turn out. But there's an authenticity to it. I think it's important. Certainly limited by the resources right now, but I've always been enamored with something that's just stripped down to its bare bones. The first draft, if you will. There's no fancy editing, there's no script, there's no camera work, there's nothing. It's just at its bare bones. Peel away the layers, if you will. You know what I mean? And you can apply that to almost anything in life that you see. And once you stop trying to hide the flaws, what are you left with? That's when we get to the honesty of it. I think it's the words that matter. And there was something very real about my dad that I think people resonated with. Gotham. That movie was very popular. It's still going to date, almost 30 years later. And I've talked about it before. You would be surprised the people that have watched that movie recently that have no business watching something like that. To me, at least, to a layman who doesn't appreciate the editing or the camera work or the film it was shot on. Maybe even the message that it was trying to say because it's too close to me. There's something very real about it and the mission in it and the metaphor behind it all. And when you strip it away, you just got a guy trying to do something. And everybody's laughing at him and they all say it's impossible, and I feel like you can apply that to anything now. That has never been more real. Nobody ever understands anything that you're really trying to do, especially if it's different. So we try and dress these things up and present it. We do it with ourselves. In real life, every day we wear a mask. We go to work, we talk with someone, just operating out in public. We're never who we really are. You strip it all away, what are you left with? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I like to just cut it down the middle. because I think they go hand in hand. That was my father, that was his life, that was my life. That was the movie, that was everything. That's this video. Cut it down the middle. Maybe some of it's good, maybe some of it's bad. There's a lot of existentialism lately. Maybe some existential dread on my part, I don't know. But I feel like we keep going back to this. It's something I didn't even know was a part of me. But it's about as raw and unfiltered as it can possibly be. I try to present it like that as well. Maybe it catches on with some people. I think the beauty of it is that I'm not even sure what I want out of it. And I think that was my father as well. As things kept growing and the success kept increasing. What does it mean? What does your life mean? And these aren't things that you often think about. Maybe people smarter than I in circles greater than the ones that I find myself in. Maybe that's a common debate. But I just can't get my mind off of it lately, especially with everything that's been happening lately. You know, we're this close to the 30th anniversary, and it was a big movie. There's a lot of eyes on it. There's a lot of potential. See that grow again, and what that could mean for me, what it could mean for the family, the legacy, my father. And that's what it's been all about lately. I guess something that I keep coming back to is, what was the point of it all? Not what's the point of life or this or that, we'll get to that. But what was the point of what my father was doing? What was his brain at? And there's a lot of things that were going on behind the scenes that will come out in time. But I just always find it so strange. Apparently everything I'm doing right now is purpose and why we're doing it all and why we're even here. And to feel like I'm too close to it now. I'm too close to him. You know, he's dead. But I'm him in some strange replicated way. And you get even deeper into that about creation and children and genetics and DNA. And again, I don't want to spin off too far, but it's weird that you can almost make a copy of yourself in some odd way and then you pass it on. And I feel like almost, and again, I'm getting a little dramatic here, I'm aware of it, but I almost feel like it's like I'm too close. Like it's like he's speaking through me and I'm him, and I don't want to be this close to it because I'm not that into it. Again, follow me. It's like I don't know. Maybe this happens when someone dies and you're their child and you start going through their old works. I don't know. Maybe it's the way he died or what happened or how I was raised or how I wasn't raised. But it's almost like, maybe it's like, you know, you got like the Lord of the Rings, you got Tolkien, and you got his kids after he's passed on. And he was older and they were older, but then they start going through all the old works and the notes written on napkins and you peel away layers. And you learn more about that person. It's very candid. It's almost like things you shouldn't see. You know, we'll just use that as an example because they're pouring over these tomes and trying to make sense of where his brain is at. Robert Jordan, The Wheel of Time, with Sanderson going in after, and David Gemmell with the Troy series, and his wife after he's dead, trying to finish the novel. There's no book right now, but it's almost like I'm trying to finish his life. Maybe that's what it is. It's like I feel like he wasn't done yet, but he just couldn't go any further. You know, life and circumstance laid waste to him long ago. There was nothing left by the end. He was spent, he burnt that candle at both ends, and here we are now. What was left with him? Me. His flesh and blood, his only son. Nothing left except a duster and some scattered memories and a burnt blade. And I know now we're out here in the darkness by a fire, spinning down this rabbit hole. I talked a little while ago about chasing him in a way. Retracing his footsteps, putting together his works. I feel like, again, I'm close to it. 30 years later, and I'm picking up the pieces almost exactly where he left off. What does that mean? I spoke about money not too long ago. For him, it always came back to money, but I don't think it was ever about that. I think that was just a means to an end. It was something to justify what he was doing. Hey, we're doing it for money. So I inherited some of that. So when I look at it, you know, it's like, why are you doing it? Not this, but some of the other things. Well, there's the potential to make money. And what is money? Money's freedom. But I feel like it's more than that now. It's not like he was trying to say anything. Maybe. I don't think there's like a hidden message to it, but I think that there's something going on behind it all that people don't see, that is missed. Beyond just a guy losing his mind. I mean, he's really spiritual. And superstitious. And I feel like if you're open to those things anyway, your brain's going to go there. And that's what all this feels like. When I first started doing this, not even the Instagram, kind of the Instagram, but these specific videos, it felt forced. It was so hard to get that first video out and just make sense of it all. And now it feels like I have to every day run out and just say something. I don't know if it's for someone else or for myself. And I write, so I've already got that outlet. I'm putting together a short story right now for Existir. I'm sure that video's come out by now. We got published on that, in that rather. So it's like I've already got the outlet, I've already got the journal. Piecing together what it all means now. And I feel like there's something there. If you look at the videos, if you look at the history, the biography, the documentary, everything that he did before, from bears to bullets to bombs, the guy in his garage challenging NASA, and all the problems that he had, and almost the flippant disregard for his family along the way, myself included me. It's just so weird to kind of like snap back to it, full circle, if you will, the dragon eating its tail. And it's like, I've probably said this before. And I'm going to ruin this quote. I think it was on Cosmos. Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about something about the universe and life, and the universe creating a lens or a way to see itself. I don't know who wrote that. I don't know if that was Neil. I'm sure that's not even the right quote exactly, but it just really stuck with me. You have nothingness, and it creates something as a mirror to itself. When you really think about it, it's the strangest thing, depending on what you believe. And I really feel like lately, as we retrace these steps and follow this journey, and we get closer to more, it really does feel like, not that my father's taking over, feels like there's some connection, It's like I'm chasing something that he was chasing now, and I don't even think he knew what that was, and it's scary, and it doesn't make any sense. And I don't have the vocabulary. I don't know if it exists to put it into words to make that make sense. It's a feeling. It's like people die. For what? Oftentimes, nothing. But I do believe even in a meaningless life or a meaningless death, it's a difference that can then give something else meaning and purpose. Now more than ever, as we approach that 30th anniversary, with everything that we've got going on, with everything that I'm doing, it really feels like we're onto something. Full circle, I'm retracing his steps, I'm picking up where he left off. And it's scary, and it's keeping me up at night, clearly. It's fucking late, and I'm out here, and it's windy as hell. Jesus. Just gotta air these thoughts. But I feel like with every one of these, with every thought, with every word, we're getting closer to it. I don't even know what that means. I think it's good. I think we're picking up where he left off. I think we're carrying on the legacy. Whatever that means. So a lot of this has been about lately. What does your life mean and what do you do and what is the purpose behind it? This existential dread that we all feel, overwhelmed by the nothingness that is daily life for most of us. The mundane, carbon copy, cookie cutter regime that everyone falls into. And you sit back sometimes in a moment of clarity and it's not good. The mirror is held up to you and see how bleak it is. You just see nothing. And I think his entire life, everything that he did, even at the end, he was still chasing something greater than himself, and I think that's important. I don't believe that I'm great. I don't think that he was great. And even the people that are very successful, they themselves might not be great. But we're all chasing it. And at some point in the road, they give up on it. We all give up on it. But some people stick to it. And I feel like my dad rode that as far as he could. You know, he burned that candle at both ends and he just couldn't go on anymore. And that's what a lot of this feels. Feels like I'm picking that up. For better or worse, I don't know. But it feels like we're picking it up. We're going to go forward from where he left on. And we're going to see how far we can get.